Fiscal year 2024, U.S. Congress provided $516 billion to programs whose authorizations previously had already expired under federal law. Nearly $320 billion of that, so half of it, expired more than a decade ago, and they were still paying.
Hello and welcome to the DOGE and Maha News Channel. My name is Chris. In this video, we're going to focus on the Department of Government Efficiency, and we're actually going to watch a video where Fox News is reacting to a op-ed that Musk and Ramaswamy put into the Wall Street Journal. By the way, this channel is all about the Department of Government Efficiency and MAHA, or Make America Healthy Again. If those topics interest you, then you're going to want to like and subscribe to this channel, because every single day I am bringing you new coverage, new videos, new information regarding both of these movements. So make sure you like and subscribe. Let's go into the video.
Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy are ready to take on Washington, D.C. with their new Department of Government Energy, DOGE. And they just outlined their actual plan in a Wall Street Journal opinion editorial. It has several key points. One, identifying what could be cut. Two, slashing regulations using existing laws. Three, slimming the federal workforce and cutting costs and saving taxpayers money. A big undertaking, they admit.
Okay, let's go ahead and pause and check out these 5 bullet points here. So DOGE's plan to reform government, the first bullet point, identifying what could be cut. Okay, I mean, that makes sense. You got to figure that out. But obviously they have to look at things like, okay, what can be cut through executive action? What can be cut through Congress? You know, are there laws that have been deemed unconstitutional by the Supreme Court? You can go ahead and cut any agency or any budget that is directed towards enforcing those laws that are considered unconstitutional. Let's see, the second bullet point is slashing regulations using existing laws. Slimming the federal workforce, yeah, that's a big one. I think they've talked about having all the federal workers actually report to the office. I've seen X posts where they report that less than like 15% of the offices are actually being used. And so if you were to actually require everyone to come into the office, there'd probably be a lot of people that would quit. We've seen that in the corporate environment as well. When corporations have required people or employees to come back into the office to work, a lot of people quit. They just don't want to do it anymore. So that's a great way to slim the federal workforce right there. But they're going to have to continue to do more of that, probably even cut whole departments, whole agencies. We'll see. Cutting costs and saving taxpayers money, that's the entire goal. I've heard Musk say that he expects to cut about $2 trillion out of the budget, which is roughly 1/3 of the budget. And they have to complete this by July 4th, 2026. Now, I believe they actually have to finish the work by then. I don't think they're supposed to convene some kind of think tank and come up with a bunch of recommendations. I think they're actually supposed to do the work and make those cuts by July 4th, 2026. That gives them just over a year and a half to do it. Of course, you know, they can do some things with executive action. They're going to have to get the help of Congress to do other things.
However, Musk and Ramaswamy are confident they can get it done. And you know they have a deadline, right? The president-elect gave them July 4th of 2026. So they got to get it done fast. Cassie.
That's my favorite part about it. That's so against the fold of Washington to have a deadline. It's against the fold of Washington. You know, we're used to, I worked on Capitol Hill for a while, and they said, we are instituting a commission. And
that is a fact. Government never has a deadline. There's never any requirement to actually get something done on time. They're always talking about putting together a commission or you know, some kind of think tank. We got to think about it and come up with a report. That's a really good point.
Commission gets to go behind closed doors and spend untold amount of taxpayer dollars. And several years down the road, they'll produce a report with some recommendations. And it's, you know, it's nonsense. You can't implement any of that. What I love about this, not only is there a deadline, I imagine Elon Musk already has some sort of AI software that's spewing out all the inefficiencies with like 30 seconds.
That's hilarious. That's actually probably a good point. He probably is working on some AI type of software in order to figure out what programs and what agencies can be cut and how soon they can be cut. I'm sure they're already working on that.
And then I also love that he's got X. They have a platform in real time to report their findings and put the pressure on agencies or elected officials to say, you going to do it or you want me to? So I'm optimistic about this more so than past efforts.
So it's interesting.
Yeah, that's a great point about X as well. I know Kevin O'Leary talked about that, how he's going to use X to squeeze heads in order to get some of this work done. He's going to put a lot of pressure on the legislature and the congressmen and women in order to make these cuts, as well as the leaders in these different agencies, because they have been so resistant to making these cuts. There's been recommendations by other organizations, and they just ignore them. They sweep them under the rug and just keep going business as usual. I don't think they'll be able to do that anymore. The other cool thing about this is that when Elon posts the stuff on X, I'm going to go ahead and see that, and I'll report it to you so you can follow along as well to see all of the changes and all of the savings that that DOGE is making.
Interesting you mentioned that, because I've been telling viewers for about a week now how much I like this X page because it's got facts on it. And so their last post, they don't post as often either. It was like 12 hours ago. Federal government agencies are using on average just 12% of the space in their D.C. headquarters. The Department of Agriculture, with space for more than 7,400 people, averaged 456 workers every day.
Space for over 7,000 workers, but they only average 450 workers coming into the office every day. That space is totally underutilized. Make those workers come into the office, and she's pulling that up from @Doge on X.
6% occupancy. I mean, that's the kind of thing. Why are American taxpayer dollars being spent to maintain empty space is the question. That's DOGE on X. So if nothing else, look at how much we're going to learn, Emily, about where our tax dollars are actually going.
Right. Well, Open the Books has been dedicated to that for years. We've covered it extensively on this couch. The massive open, unused buildings totaling $1 billion in assets throughout the country. Wow. The overpayments that we can't claw back totaling $1 trillion. So to me, as a former federal attorney and member of this bloat, I can't impart enough how difficult it is to ever get back a dollar. We've covered even with the IRS, where they spend $7 to get back a dollar that they claim was owed.
Wait, really? I didn't know that. So the IRS will spend $7 in order to get a dollar that they claim is owed to them. They're going to spend $7 to get that? That doesn't make any sense at all. Why would they do that? I don't know how factual that is, but that is a really interesting point, and hopefully DOGE will look into that.
So I want everyone to understand, too, that the sort of notion that in everything other than recipes, you always want to audit. You always want to clean house. You always say, how can we do it better? Right? Well, I was thinking, like, what do I want to say? It's always keep the same recipes. But everything else, it's not, well, that's how we've always done it. But the government, for some reason, people wanted that to remain the same. Absolutely not. You don't want to keep paper records. So everything should be absolutely open to sunlight. But people keep in mind, it's not just paying for shrimp on treadmills. It is the overpayments, the inefficiency, the unused buildings where you look and you say, wait a minute, we were paying these billions of dollars per year on waste.
Right.
On waste. On
and now
nothing.
everybody can just see it on X.
That's right. So bravo to this disruption, which that word's annoying.
So you make me...
Man, that's a really good point, too. So, yeah, we're going to get rid of some of these weird experiments that they're doing, the fish drinking tequila or gin, the shrimp on treadmill, like she talked about, the cat brain experiments that they've done in Russia. Yeah, okay, you get rid of that stuff, but that's like small potatoes compared to the waste, the buildings that are being unused, the overpayments that she's talking about, the government contractors that are getting overpayments. I just saw an article recently about Boeing getting overpaid for these military screws that they have. So we as taxpayers are getting screwed by Boeing because we're paying hundreds of dollars for a single screw. These government contractors are definitely getting overpaid, and there's no one kind of looking at the books, auditing the books and saying, hey, what is happening here? Why are we wasting so much money on this? But now the Department of Government Efficiency is going to come in and clean house.
What we need.
A little nervous about the pecan pie that I'm going to make for Thanksgiving.
Keep it the same. Don't change a thing. Recipes, don't change a thing.
Thank you. Time Magazine is wondering what's next on Elon Musk's to-do list with their latest cover titled Citizen Musk. Griff.
Look, if you didn't think that the guy that wants to put a man on Mars, whose SpaceX program rescued 2 astronauts stuck because the government and NASA and Boeing couldn't bring them back. Remember those astronauts stuck up there?
Yeah.
If you didn't think that visionary CEO can't slow that debt clock a few blocks down here from slowing down, you bet. And it's not just going to be the shrimp on treadmills. I've covered the pork barrel stories, gone to studying blowing up beaver dams in Mississippi years ago, the bridge to nowhere in Alaska. That's not what he's talking about. He's talking about shutting down the big stuff, the departments and the entire entities that are just a drain on the government, our tax dollars, but also stopping the unelected people that work at those agencies that spend that money because that's their job.
Yeah, all right.
Musk has bailed out the government a couple times. There were astronauts that were trapped in space, and Boeing couldn't figure it out. The U.S. government couldn't figure it out, so Musk went and figured it out, right? And so that's what he's doing. We have people in government that have looked at the wasteful spending in the past, and all they've done is created reports. They've never actually been able to take action and actually see results. So for once, hopefully, we're going to start to see some results.
All right, one more from the DOGE X post. Fiscal year 2024, U.S. Congress provided $516 billion to programs whose authorizations previously had already expired under federal law. Nearly $320 billion of that, so half of it, expired more than a decade ago, and they were still paying.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. This program, whatever it is, has expired, some of them up to 10 years ago, and still the government is sending money? What is going on? WTF?
My goodness.
This is bigger than the superfluous little spending here or there on some research project. In fact, listen to this. They listed out some of what they're targeting, and this, gosh, it thrills me. Let me just say that. The $535 million a year to Corporation for Public Broadcasting, they're looking at. $1.5 billion to international organizations, and oh, is this one exciting? $300 million to progressive groups like Planned Parenthood. They wrote in a Washington...
That's a great point. Why are we giving money to public broadcasting? Why are we giving money to NPR? I mean, can't these organizations float on their own? They don't need to be government subsidized anymore. Get out there and sell some commercial time. Put out some content that people actually want to watch and listen to, and then you can sell some commercials and pay for yourself. If you want to do some kind of a drive, you know, like a lot of Christian radio stations will do fundraising drives to support their programming. That way they don't need as many commercials. So do something like that. But you don't need government money anymore. Figure out how to stand on your own 2 feet. And then the same thing with Planned Parenthood. I mean, if they are a medical organization that is so vital, then they should be able to stand on their own 2 feet, right? They shouldn't need all this government subsidy stuff. They should be able to do it by themselves.
Wall Street Journal op-ed, Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk, that they're targeting that spending. They believe this 1974 law is unconstitutional and that the president can unilaterally do this through executive action. They're going to go to the Supreme Court. We have a 6-3 majority there. They're very confident. They've thought this out methodically. And you progressive programs, I mean, be on watch.
Yeah, let's just get a list of the Democrats who are going to say, no, we need bigger government. As they begin to cut. It'll be interesting. Yeah. More out now.
That's a great point. How many Democrats are going to be like fighting this and say, we can't have smaller government. We want to spend more. What they're going to say is the slashing of programs is going to hurt people in need, and laying people off is just going to hurt the economy. But that's not true. I mean, look at Argentina. I'll have to do a video on them, but their president has basically gone in and removed programs, and now their GDP is climbing and they're getting prosperous. I mean, it's pretty exciting. And so I'm really excited about what's going to happen here as well. Well, that was a pretty good video. They made a lot of really good points, I thought. Please tell me in the comments, what would you like to see slashed out of the government? What kind of cuts would you like to see them make? I'm really curious to know what you think as well. Obviously, I'm pretty excited about DOGE and the Department of Government Efficiency. So every single day, I'm going to bring you the latest news, the latest information that I can find. And you're going to want to make sure that you like and subscribe to this channel. Also, hit the notification bell. That way you won't miss any updates. I'm going to go ahead and post a playlist of other videos that I've made regarding the Department of Government Efficiency. So why don't you check that out? I just want to say thanks for watching. I appreciate you and take care.